There we go. Tell me something good. What good happened in your businesses last week? Lars, I know you always got something.
Yeah, a couple of things. One is Diana just, it's about to go into market and MLS probably within a week to 10 days. But over in an area called Sunrise Mist, right off of Mac Road, a really nice area over there. All the houses really nicely kept. 405, 950, 3 and 2, has solar that's owned. That's 2 years old, central heat and air. Just a nice area, park there. I don't know, cosmetic fixer a little bit.
Okay.
But in pretty good shape. Then we have a few new team members, Dana Smith, Rolanda Loki out of Atlanta, Arisha Jamal here locally, and Christopher Zimmerman here locally, well, actually Santa Clara.
All right. Well, welcome to the new people. In case you're online, everybody round of applause for the new folks. Great job. And by the way, for that new listing, how did you generate that?
Is a family friend.
Okay.
We had sold their in-laws house a little while ago, just friends that we've known forever.
Perfect.
And it was across the street. Their neighbor husband passed away last year, and she wants to really move on and move to Arizona, so they called us.
Perfect. That works.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Who else has to tell me something good from last week? Lindsay, do you have any? I think it's close a bunch, but hey, Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay. What do you got?
Cindy behind me. Bang has a buyer signing today to close. Valerie has a closing today. Haley has one that was real tough to get across the finish line, but they'll be closing this week.
Gray hairs.
Couple gray hairs.
I know. A couple gray hairs from that one. Yeah.
That's okay.
I think there's 2 or 3 more going on too. But
You can always cover it up. Always color it.
yeah.
Nobody has to know.
But hey, those are some of the most rewarding ones. And that was a buyer that the one with Haley. Haley and I have worked with her for 4 years.
What?
Yeah.
Haley, here, tell the story really quick. I'm gonna give Haley the mic.
Okay, so in the process, we were working on her credit originally, and then we needed to vet that she was getting bonuses. So then we got all that after 2 years, and we're like, yes. And then she breaks the news to Lindsay and tells Lindsay, oh, by the way, I got married. And her husband, yeah, and then her husband didn't want her to buy a house. And then so she was like, okay, well, I'll just do this on my own. Well, then Lindsay's like, well, we have to add his debt into play. And so then it made her purchasing power go down. So needless to say, we're finally at the finish line with an agent who was like literally probably calling Lindsay and I and texting nonstop about when are we going to close? We're like, well, we don't have clear to close yet. So, but we got it last night at 5:15, and JJ called me and said, we did it.
If anybody can get it done, you and Lindsay will. All right, good job. 4 years, Barry.
So 2 things, we filled out one of our rounds of investing on one of our co-living properties and got all the construction done, so that's good.
Nice.
And then the second one, we put a contract in on a assumable. And so one of my investors is getting a property at 2.75%.
Wow.
Pretty good.
That's freaking awesome. Round of applause, guys. All right, any other, tell me something that's good. Frank.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jay because I took him up on his offer. And Monday I had a call with Ryan on AI for social media content. If you guys aren't using her to help you, of course, I don't know anything about it. So I let people smarter than me. She's a freaking rock star. So those of you who post social media and looking for content, go to Ryan at JJ's office. She's a bomb.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, Ryan's awesome.
Yeah.
And by the way, Frank's wife, Mary, is a phenomenal stager. You guys are looking for a good stager, contact Mary. She's amazing. All right, guys. Anybody else before we move on? Okay. Upcoming events. So later. Oh yeah. So we're filling the food banks. You know, the government shutdown had a lot of consequences. One of them is the food banks are lower than they are this time of year. So if you'd like to bring food by here until November 21st, and then we're going to go drop it off at the food bank. So if you want to know, you can connect with Jose. We got a little box for collections in our office. So goes to overseeing families. Here's a list of things you can donate. So don't bring like tequila, you know, bring like things that they okay. All right. So on November 20th, Brent is flying out, Burl Workman. This guy is world class. He does not do a lot of in-person things. He doesn't do a lot of in-person speaking, but he's coming out to do a business planning session with us. He's the owner, the CEO, the founder of Workman Success Coaching. People like Cindy Silva have used them. I've coached with Burl's team. They're absolutely world class, and you're getting King Burl to come out and speak. So what's going to happen is we are having so bring a friend. It's a PCAR. The event is free, and then afterwards we're going to have lunch here. So you're going to get to hang out with Burl one-on-one, talk to him personally, connect on a one-on-one basis, not on a one-to-many, and at the PCAR meeting. But please bring people. The more people you bring, the better the event will be, and the more we're able to do things like this. And if nothing else, if that doesn't sell you on Burl, do it for Brent, because Brent's paying to have Burl come out. All right, moving on. We're not doing a meeting on Thanksgiving because it's Thanksgiving. So if you're a diehard, if you're hardcore, if you're like Barry's probably going to be here on Thanksgiving, it'll be Barry and that'll be it. So, but coming up, we have future events, Cabo, March 3rd through 8th. Here are some of the speakers. It's going to be Girls with Grit. It's going to be Tina Call. Kathy will be speaking. Y'all know who Tom Ferry is. Pace Morby, who.
Hold on, did you say Kathy's gonna be speaking? That is
Give
amazing.
me a breakout, yeah.
I have never heard Kathy speak.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go
She's
for her.
presenting Vision Eastas. He was going to speak last year, was not able to make it due to family circumstances, but he's coming this year. Pace, you guys know who he is. If you don't know who he is, follow him on YouTube. He does a lot of the subject to type of things. He's very popular in that space. Flies on a private jet. He's going to be there. Gary and Sage Brecka, Gary and Sage's wife. They were part of, I think they are again part of 10X Health, but they're probably the how many times? 3, maybe 4 times now they've spoken at our events. And they are consistently, people love having them come, and they hang out. Like somebody like, he'll probably be in and out, right? He'll do his job, be a professional, and then leave. But they'll be hanging out in the lobby, they'll be hanging out poolside, they'll come to like the service that Brent typically does on the beach, and they'll hang out like. So if you wanna again connect with somebody on a more personal level, you want exposure to people that you typically wouldn't be able to even pay to have exposure to. Highly recommend. The tickets are $7.97. They are going up eventually, and then VIP, if you really want to be close, if you want to be in the splash zone, as Brent calls it, pay $11.97. But anyways, enough about that. And then, of course, every single Friday we have Alex and I speaking about what you're covering this Friday with Bold Trails.
Thanks. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock right here in this room, I'm continuing with my Bold Trail Mastery series where I'm focused on conversion. I think we're in week 9 of it. And what I'm looking at is the presentations that we have within Bold Trail, where we can create listing presentation, buyer presentations, and just general presentations. And it's all automated through Bold Trail. And so I'm going to cover that tomorrow. And of course, catch me on Zoom as well. So if you're not able to make it here, it's zoomwithalexdyer.com.
So person knows better.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. And then after that, oh yes, our lender minute, lender extraordinary JJ Mack is in the house. Everybody, please give him a round of applause.
Hello, what's up?
50-year mortgages, huh?
Yeah, man.
Affordable mortgages. What's going on?
Oh man, stealing my thunder. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I can talk a little bit about that. But first of all, I'm so happy today because last night, you know what the House did? It voted to open the government, and then Trump stayed late and signed it. So government is back open again. Airport workers, government workers, people are getting their food stamps again, can feed their families. It's a good thing. It's all good. And you know what? Also, something that we're going to be able to get now is some of these job numbers that we've been waiting for. The Fed has been waiting, saying, what does it look like out there right now? What are we going to do in December with these interest rates? And so over the past couple weeks, ADP has been giving out their numbers, and they've been showing over the last, week after week after week, over 11,000 job losses every week. That's a big number. People are losing jobs, and it's a tough market. If you know anybody trying to get a job, you probably can see that. So hopefully now the government's open, they'll get their numbers out. But Fed is kind of bearish. They've been saying, I don't know if we're going to lower rates right now. the inflation isn't where we want to see it. Unfortunately, they're looking at today, they're looking at the present, they're not looking the future. And anybody that knows what's kind of happened with when you lose jobs, that means less spending going out into the market, which means that inflation isn't going to continue to go up. It's going to continue to go the wrong way. And so hopefully they can look in the future, realize there's job losses, and can lower rates the way we want it to. It's about a 50-50 chance right now if you look at poly market. So hopefully they come around and start talking bullishly about that. Current interest rates around 6.1% for conventional, 5.8% for FHA, and 5.7% for VA. And if you do a refinance, it's about 3/8% less than that, at least at American Pacific Mortgage. We're trying to help out clients, so we're cutting our margins, trying to help people refinance their loans. So if you know somebody that needs to refinance, please have them talk to us. So yes, there are some things that have been coming out lately you've probably heard of. Have anybody heard about the no FICO score for conventional loans?
Here we go again.
Yeah, so it's not as good as it might seem. So let's just say you have a 520 FICO score. We still have to run it through an underwriting system. It's not just like, oh, you have a bad FICO, we're going to give you a loan. It still has to get approved. And so just because they don't have a FICO score or a low FICO score doesn't mean that's automatically approved. We're still going to run it through. So, but it's a good way to contact some of your old buyers and say, hey, I know you were at that 560, 570, 580 mark. Maybe now that there's no FICO score requirement, maybe that underwriting system will give you the approval if they have some other extenuating circumstances. Maybe they have a really good job. Maybe they got a lot of money sitting in the bank. And the credit score is just the one thing that was going wrong for them. So if they have a really, really strong file otherwise, it might work out. So keep that in mind when you're talking to your clients. And that's for conventional loans. And then also, yes, the 50-year mortgage, the portable loan, we'll see what happens there. The thing about that is, all in all, we were talking to Alex earlier, we were debating about this, and it could be good. I'm all for it. Why not? Bring it on. But I think the really important thing right now is if the government could just focus on bringing more homes to the market. That's really where we're going to see the most bang for your buck, right? You bring on a 50-year loan, you port the mortgage over. That's going to bring on more buyers to the market that we already have with the little amount of homes that we have. So I like it. I think it's good. The more options, the better. But hopefully we can get some more homes in there. That's what we really need. But really today, I wanted to share this with you. I had Jose throw up a slide for about our pie giveaway. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about this. It's something that you can do to call your buyers. We're always thinking about, what can I tell my buyer? Can I call them? What are the things that I need to talk to them about today? I feel like I'm bugging them all the time, trying to always reach out and ask them how they're doing. Well, here's a way that you can reach out and say, hey, I want to help you. I know Thanksgiving is coming up in the next couple of weeks here. I would love to be able to reach out to you and get you a pie. And we do this every single year. We're going to give them away. We go to Apple Hill and we're going to get 3 different flavors: pumpkin, berry, and apple. And so we got a QR code here. You scan that and you tell us what you want, how many you want. The morning of, we're going to go up there. They're frozen, so it's not like they're going to be fresh or anything. You keep them frozen, you give them to your client, and then they can heat them up the day of the Thanksgiving. And the cool part about it is we make a label and we stick it on the front of it for you, and it has your name and your information on it and says thank you for your business. And so that way they know who it's from. When they're sitting around the table at Thanksgiving, they see your information there, and all their friends and family are going to be able to see that as well. And so we're looking forward to that. You just show up at our office November 20th from 4 to 6:30. And we're going to bring donuts, apple cider, and a couple other things. So it's going to be a fun event, hopefully out in the parking lot if it's not raining. If it's raining, we'll have it inside, but it's going to be a fun-filled thing. We're going to have some music and a couple other fun things as well.
I got a little confused. We show up or our clients show up?
Both. Bring them if you
How
want.
much are the pies?
So we split them up. So between me and you, I'll split it with you. So the pies are anywhere from $4 to $7, depending on $4 to $8, depending on what flavor you want. The pumpkin pies are not as much. The apples and the berries are a little bit more.
That's the split price, right?
Correct.
That's the
No,
price to me.
that's the total price.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
really good deal.
We get them in bulk. We're getting
Yeah.
like several hundred of them.
Yeah.
And so they give us a good deal. I think they're usually like $12. But they give us some.
And just to clarify, you guys will show up this day, but we need to know in advance how many you may want.
Right.
So just reach out and let us know
That's what the QR code slows.
for how many people you think you may want pies first, so we can be sure to order correctly. So you show up day of, we may not have your pies already.
They'll have the stickers and everything on there. Ryan's gonna get it all ready.
Yeah.
That date, that they need to get that information in by to be sure that they can participate.
Yeah, we would love to have it, by, Tuesday of next week. If you can, Wednesday, it's okay. We're not going up there until the morning of, but we would like to call Apple Hill ahead of time, let them know how much to have ready. They're pretty cool and they're able to do what we need them to do, but definitely let us know ahead of time. It's a great way, it's a great thing to do. Clients love it. Also, I'll let you talk a little bit more about what else we're doing at the office on that same day that might want to get your clients over there as well. No, that was it. Unless anybody has any other questions about mortgage rates or anything else.
Just, you gave us some rates. How much do we add for an investor loan?
Good question, yeah. So depending on the investor loan, if it's like your standard, they're putting down 30%, only have to add about a half a point. They're putting down 20%, you're gonna want to add about a full percentage point. So that down payment adds a decent amount to it, 20, depending on 20, 25, and 30% down are a big factor in determining interest rate. So between a half to a full percent up. And then, then your bank statement loans and your DSCR loans and stuff like that, they're gonna add an additional 4% on top of that. Any other questions you guys have had for a mortgage guy like myself?
You talked about a portable. Is that something that's working now? So portable. I don't understand how that works, but we can talk offline.
Yeah, they're teasing it. They would like to have it happen. I think it'd be a great thing for people like me that have a 2.5% interest rate for my next house. We'll see what happens. But they are teasing that out there. There are a few countries that are doing that currently, but America is not one of them. So we'll see what happens and if they take that into a vote. But I think with the majority of the House and Senate in that favor, it could very well happen if they choose to get the right people on the side. It's all going to depend on, I was talking to Alex about this earlier, it's all going to depend on if the banks want that to happen, the big banks, if they want it, they might get it. So,
Yeah.
which
The market a lot more than 50-year loan.
absolutely will. Okay, thanks guys, appreciate you.
All right, round of applause for JJ Mack. So real quick, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's meeting about MLS and those updates. The pie giveaway, we are also, JJ and I have also partnered, we're gonna pay to have Santa there. So if you wanna do like a Christmas card photo shoot, if your clients wanna come out, they come in to grab the pie and get a picture with Santa. They're gonna be taking pictures, not like at the mall where you gotta wait in line and they use their photographer and you pay them $40. It's like, come on. Just take pictures with your iPhone, put it on portrait mode, and you get your Christmas card with your kids and Santa. So Santa will be there and free pies for your clients. So please, please, please. And then for more information, reach out to Jose about that because we gotta update our Eventbrite. So anyways, that's gonna happen on the 20th. And then Tom Dave said, Johnny, there's this great speaker. I know we're moving in the holidays, everybody's thinking about gravy, pies, champagne, sparkling cider, but what they should also be focusing on is a little bit more of the health stuff too. So today to talk on that really briefly, 5 minutes or less, please welcome to the front of the room, Mr. Bryan Pease.
Guys. Perfect. I appreciate the opportunity, JJ. So my name is Bryan Pease. I believe that Alex, I met you a long time ago. I was a lender years and years ago, but I'm with Life Source Water Systems. And I'm the manufacturer's rep for them. And what we do is we actually help clients with healthy water, get healthy water. We're going to install the system right at the main. And so they're able to get chemical-free water throughout the whole house. So they're washing their clothes and chemical-free water. Washing their clothes in chemical-free water, and all the PFAs, VOCs, things like that are removed from the water. My goal is I actually have an opportunity to put money back in your pocket. We've got a great referral program right now where I can, anybody you can help turn me into, refer me to, you put $500 in your pocket to, if I'm able to help them receive great water. There's decent water in Placer County, but there are chemicals in the water. We're gonna get the chlorine, and all the chemicals, we can get that removed. I am the manufacturer, which is great because there's a lot of other companies out there that are just selling their system with as a dealer. They're getting their stuff from China. We're family owned and operated, 41 years in business. You may have heard of us on KFBK. Kitty O'Neill talks about us all the time, and people love the water. You get more toxic exposure from taking a shower than drinking that same water. So plastic bottles can go away. And we invented the first salt-free system as well. So love to chat with you about it and see if I can help your clients. Because, if you got clients in Elk Grove, Sacramento, Placer County has decent water, but a lot of other people do not. And we can help people on wells as well. And
What's the average cost of a system?
well, that would all depend on the size of the main. You're looking at probably between 6,000 and 8,000.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have an amazing program. So we're the manufacturer. And also, if you have any plumbers that you work with that you'd like to refer to me, I'd love to talk to any plumbers you may have, because I can help them increase their business as well. But we've got a great promotion happening the end of the year for Black Friday and throughout the end of the year. It's a no sales tax promotion. So we don't discount our systems because we're the manufacturer. So I'm able to provide manufacturer pricing. We install the system, but this no sales tax promotion is our largest of the year, and you can take advantage of it. Absolutely. I got some information I'd love to share with you. Sure. If you have any information that, I know your clients everyone's thinking about it, talking about it. PFAs, the VOCs that are in water, the chlorine that's in the water is removed. And there's no filters to change, but I'll more than happy to chat with you about it.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Bryan. All right. So we've come to the point in today's meeting where it's the keynotes. We flew them all the way from Elk Grove. Yeah, I wouldn't say Rockland, but flew them all the way from Elk Grove. Everybody, please give a round of applause to Mr. Colby Bryan.
Thank you.
Put that on so I can hear you.
Sure.
All right, well, good morning. Still, thanks for having me come speak a little bit about some of the changes that we've got going on in Metro List. So, AI is kind of the big thing happening everywhere. And, the MLS is no different. We've got some AI tools that we've brought in to the actual MLS. So I'm going to go over those. And then we've offered a new program that you can pull public data, tax data, that also goes into some other information about like the surrounding area, so the neighborhood, into hazards information, even brings in that crime data that a lot of people kind of look for. And kind of there it is, perfect timing. It's called Real Reports, and it's considered the Carfax for home. So it's just a ton of information that you can now pull to offer to potential clients, buyers, or sellers. So let's go ahead and start real fast, though, by jumping into Prospector Plus, so we can take a look at some of these AI-based tools. Now, I may have shown a few of them last time I was here, but they are great tools, and I want to kind of refresh them in your mind so that you're kind of more comfortable using them. So the first one is an AI-based picture search. So now what we can do is if your client comes to you and says, oh man, I really like this pool, or hey, I really like the way this kitchen looks, they can give you that picture and I can now search by that actual picture. So under searches, we're going to find the AI picture search. And then it's going to come to this page here. So basically, a little note there just says that because it's AI-based, once I throw a picture in there, if I go and search the same thing tomorrow, it's not a guarantee I'm going to get all the same results because it is AI-based, so it might pull some different information. But all we got to do is down here, we're going to click the Select on an Image to find Similar Properties button. And it's going to pull up your Explorer, and you can go and pick a picture. So I'm going to use this one here. Maybe my client said, hey, I want to find a pool that has a lot of the trees for privacy, maybe some built-in shade, and maybe a lot of room for seating. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click search. And the first thing I'm going to say is, as you can see, that was the only criteria that I put in, right? Was the picture. So the cool thing about this is that even though I don't have extra criteria to say, hey, I'm looking for this county or this city or this price point, these bedroom bathroom counts, I can still sort that information in our one line grid. So for me, I have city as one of my columns here. So if I grab city and just click and drag it up to the top and let go of it, the system's going to sort by all the cities. So now you can see Davis has 6 properties. And so that way I can easily group my information. So over here on the right-hand side, there's a little magnifying glass. I'm going to type, or I'm going to click on that, and let's just type Roseville in here. And it's going to pull up the properties. So this one says Citrus Heights, but let's go down, and now it's Folsom. I don't know why it's pulling up Roseville stuff. Oh, Old Republican Roseville, okay. So we should keep going until it finds me actual Roseville, the city, which there it is. Okay, so it's highlighting it in yellow. One thing I've already done is my information is already sorted by price. So for me, it's really easy to just look and say, okay, well, their price point was $550 to, we'll just use all of them, to 1.2, right? So what I can do is I'm going to come over here and scroll over a little bit more so I can see my checkboxes. Okay, I'm just going to grab these properties. Okay, so I'm going to check them all. And if I want to know where they are, it's as easy as just clicking on map up there at the top. Okay, for one, it's going to show me all the picture or all of the properties. Okay, so I don't really care about all of the properties. So again, on the right-hand side under my actions pane, I've got a little eyeball with the box here. I'm just going to click on that. And now I've got all those properties that I was asking for. Okay. If this is something that I want to quickly turn into a buyer's tour, up here, I'll click on more, routing, add checked, and then get directions. It takes me right into Google. And now I've got my directions there. Okay, what was the address here? 215 or 915 Island Point?
Yeah.
Oops. You can get the 915 Island Point. Okay. So I can add, hey, let's start here at the office. I'm going to click, I'll just drag that up to the top. And then from here, I can say, you know what, let's find these properties and make this a little bit better route. Okay, so Steinbach, probably use that as the first one. And then I'll go over here to Tulip. So as you can see, I can really kind of make this an efficient trip for myself. And then even going as far as saying, hey, you know what? Why don't we meet at a Starbucks after the fact? Maybe this one here on Douglas. And we could talk about the properties you just saw. So really easily, I created that buyer's tour off of the properties that I found. Okay, if you're already logged in with Google, boom, I can send them straight to my phone. I can copy the link and email that out to my clients. Or if I consider myself old-fashioned, I can click on details and print out that MapQuest looking paper with the turn-by-turn directions still. Okay, so really nice ability to just be able to quickly take those properties that I found and throw them into a buyer's tour. Okay, let's go ahead and close out of that. But we kind of want to find out, okay, well, what was it about these pictures that we, found that made them the search results? Okay, so I'm going to go to pictures here, and to be able to see our comparison image, I do have to be showing all the other images. So that's something we're trying to get them to fix, that I can check the listings and view only those check listings to be able to see them this in this way. Okay, but here's the picture that we had, and here's one of the pictures of the pool. So we can see, for one, it's a pretty similar angle. It did get, hey, there is some privacy here. Lots of room for seating, but no built-in shade. They have, it looks like a little awning over here, but that might not be what my clients are looking for. Okay, so I can go through here and I can view all the different images of the pools that they found. Okay, this one has the waterfall. There's a few, you know, trees, a nice seating area, nice pergola. Okay, so it's just pulling out a few different things. You know, it looks for features, but one thing you'll notice that it also looks for the specific angle of the picture. So in one of the pictures that I've seen it pull before, it was actually a picture of like a man-made lake, but because of the angle of the lake, it pulled that one in. So, I mean, with any AI tool, you still have to do your due diligence, right? You still have to look through the information that's provided there and say, you know what, yes, this is a great match, or no, that's not a great match. And that comes into a little bit more play with some of the other tools that we have. But just so you can see how it works, it's a pretty, you know, nifty little tool that will pull in, you know, that information. So this one here is actually pulling in a community pool. Maybe they don't want that. I can easily just uncheck it and that not be an option. Okay. But that's your AI picture search. Again, it's a nice little tool to be able to pull in, you know, those kitchens that are, you know, clients' dreams, that maybe have the island with the range over top, whatever it is. I can pull that stuff in and find properties that are similar to that.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
can you filter it by the city?
You can't filter it, but you can sort. Okay, so when I was looking at the results, what I was able to do is take the city group and put that up to the top, and then it sorts by just all Roseville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Just quick, so, well, you pulled up a picture of the house with the pool, right?
Mhm.
But was that a house that was on MLS, or like, could they
They could go to
email you?
Google and say, you know, dream kitchens, and then
Okay.
find a picture. As long as they save that picture and then send it to you,
Okay.
you can search by that. Yep.
Do you think you can do it through the start to finish like a report? Or,
This is recorded.
okay, perfect, okay. I was like, I already forgot.
No worries.
Okay.
So that's in searches and AI picture search,
Okay.
pretty straightforward.
So would it be useful for styles, like Craftsman style, Tudor style, Victorian style?
Definitely. Yeah, because it'll pull those little features out. And one thing you'll see as I go through this next portion is that the AI tool is smart enough to kind of determine what style home it is. So we'll talk about that right now. So these tools here now have more to do with the listing input side of the MLS. So who knows about Metroless Voice? I think I talked about it last time I was here. So Metroless Voice is an AI-based tool. It's an app that you can use. When I go to a house, I can now speak to the features of that house, and it takes all that information and generates an incomplete listing for me. Okay, so now I could just, instead of having to sit there maybe with a bubble sheet or a voice memo, it can kind of guide me through, okay, well, what do you see on the main level? Talk about what I see on the main level. You know, hey, I'm in the kitchen. These are the features. These are the appliances that I see. And it's going to take all that information and generate me an incomplete listing within Prospector Plus off of that. So if you haven't tried that out, it's called Metroless Voice. Go to your App Store, your Play Store. Just type in Metroless Voice and start playing with it. You can create as many incomplete listings as you want. Try it on your home, see how it works. But this kind of goes in hand with that, because this next tool I can do either on an incomplete listing or from a brand new listing. So I'm going to do it with a brand new listing, and we'll sell my parents' house. So if you know them, don't tell them. They're going to be homeless in a little while. Not really, just kidding. Okay. Oops. Okay, so we'll search their information.
9562.
Yeah, they live in Elk Grove.
I know exactly where that's at.
Okay, so one thing that you see, this is all pretty straightforward, right? We all seen this page hundreds of times, I'm sure, right? The one thing that's new here, there's a new checkbox. Okay, it says autofill listing data using AI. So what that's talking about is if I have any pictures of that home, I can now drop those pictures in and gather information from what the system is pulling out of those pictures. So again, to go hand in hand with Metroless voice, if I'm walking through the house and talking about what I see, now I can, oh, I'm in the kitchen, let me snap a couple pictures of my own and bring those over to that incomplete listing and now pull even more information, things that I might not have spoken to out of those pictures. So combining the two kind of softwares together. Okay, I'm going to place the pin on the map. One thing that I always like to do, I know where that is. If this is the first time you guys have ever been to the house, maybe you've been there one time, I'm not sure if that's the right house. I can do two things. I can look at the satellite view and I can actually just zoom in on it. And I can say, okay, yeah, that looks like the right property. Or what I like to do is I call him Greg, little pegman guy over here. You can just drop him in front of the house and it'll show you what their house looks like. Okay, yes, I know that's the right house. Now I can go in to the next page with confidence knowing it's got the right map pin placement. Okay, so we'll continue listing input, but now we see instead of me going into the actual listing information side of it, it's bringing me into where the pictures are. So again, I'm going to go click add pictures. And we'll just grab all these ones here and throw them in. I do have to wait for all the pictures to load before I can move on and do anything else. Okay. And this is a side note. This isn't necessarily AI based, but this is something I always like to speak to when I'm in or on this page, and especially when it comes to a new listing. Has anyone ever had someone call a buyer's agent call them after they've sold a property, like 2 or 3 months down the line, maybe even further than that, saying, hey, my client wants their pictures off of Zillow or Redfin or Realtor? Everyone, right? So I can now select all the pictures, and over here on the right-hand side, click mark them as private. What it's saying is the primary picture still has to be on the public sites, but now it's going to, as soon as this listing goes into an off-market status, pull all those pictures off those third-party sites. And I don't have to worry about it any longer. So as soon as it hits pending, boom, they're off Zillow, Redfin, Realtor. And the reason I want to do it while I'm entering the pictures is because there's usually only two things that kind of trigger listing changes on those third-party sites: price change and status change. So if I've closed the listing out and then I get that phone call 3 months down the line and I go and do this, it's not just going to trigger Zillow to re-pull the information and pull those down. So then I have to call tech support and ask them to refresh the listing maybe a few different times for it to actually trigger Zillow to take the pictures down. So I always recommend doing it here at the beginning, because then they're already going to be off as soon as I go into pending and I don't have to worry about it. Okay. But the real reason I'm here is to talk about the AI tools. So for one, it's going to pull some AI-based features, but what I can do, and that's good because the Metroless voice works, right? So one thing I can do is on the right-hand side, you see it says generate AI description. So a lot of people tend to put these pictures in and finish their listings 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then they go on, at midnight. I don't know about you guys, but 10, 11 at night, I'm not really thinking, the best. I don't always have the words to say. So this just will help me kind of generate those AI descriptions for the pictures. So it's going to scan all the pictures for me, and it's going to come back and say, okay, this is what I see in the picture. And it's going to give me that information in a description form. Okay. So to your point about pulling out, the style of home, the first picture here says Craftsman house featuring covered porch, front lawn, and stone siding. Okay, so it grabbed that it's a Craftsman style home. The one thing is, to me, it's pretty obvious that's a front lawn. Okay, I don't know if I necessarily want that to just be in the description. It's pretty obvious. Okay, so the cool thing is I can edit what they've given me. I don't have to just take it. And maybe what you can't see in there is it's fresh paint. Okay, so I can edit it and turn it into what I want. Same concept down here, right? Bedroom with light wood finished floors. Pretty obvious. Maybe what they don't know is this is the bedroom on the main level. Okay, so I can completely edit it. I can delete what it is, or I can use what they have. Again, because it's an AI-based tool, you've got that little disclaimer down there at the bottom. Just double check what it's saying. You want to make sure that you're representing the property truthfully, factually. At the end of the day, it's not the AI's property, it's your property. So you still have to do your due diligence. But I'm going to click done and accept. And now you can see that it's added that AI description to all those different pictures. The one that I completely edited is just now a normal description because I created the entire thing. Okay. But what we're going to do is now I'm going to click save and continue. It's going to go ahead and add all the pictures to the listings. And I could do this with again, the pictures that I take after I'm doing Metroless voice. So I could just take them myself on my camera phone, or I can wait and use the marketing photos, right? If I do them with the photos that I take and I'm still bringing marketing photos in, not a problem. I can do this, pull the information out of the photos I took, and then have the marketing photos just kind of be there. Maybe just use the AI description on those. Okay, but here we go. It pulled me up some information, found some appliances, fireplace features, flooring, heating, kitchen features. It would pull a lot more if I use more than, 12 pictures, 11 pictures. Okay, so if you're putting in 20, 30, 40, 50 pictures, it's going to gather a lot more information. But for the sake of time and everything, I'm not going to do all that. So again, I don't have to use any of this stuff. Maybe, what's the best one I can take out here? Maybe it's not stone countertop, right? I could just uncheck that because that's not what it actually is. Okay, maybe the AI tool saw it as stone, but that's not what it is. Then save and continue. And then it's going to bring me into that listing information page where I can sort or capture the rest of my information on the listing. But as we go down here, we can see, okay, under appliances, it grabbed that dishwasher, the hood over the range, and the microwave. So it is taking that information and populating the listing with it. So what a powerful little tool that I can now, I don't have to necessarily speak to everything if I'm using Metroless voice. Maybe it's something that I missed when I'm looking at it, but the picture didn't miss, right? So again, helping to not miss any of those crucial details. And really those crucial details are the ones that your clients end up asking for when they're looking for these properties. So that's kind of a big thing for us, is just make sure that, when you're filling a listing out, you want to fill it out to the best of your ability. Don't just go off of what's required, because a lot of clients do search for that non-required stuff. And if you're not putting the non-required items in there, your listing's not being pulled up. Legacy just means it was part of the old system, and because I have admin rights, it shows it. Yeah, so if I were to pull up a listing and it said dual pane on it, I can know that that was a listing that was in the system before. Okay, so the next AI tool that we have is going to be inside of listing information. And so just like I was able to do the picture description, now I can actually do public remarks as well. So what I can do is I can generate that AI public remarks. Just click the button. It does the same thing where it scans the pictures, and it comes back with this neat little description here. I'm just going to read a little snippet of it. The kitchen offers a wonderful combination of style and function, where shaker cabinets are enhanced with crown molding, providing ample storage and visual appeal, while the stone countertops offer a durable and beautiful surface for meal prep. Okay, so again, I want to double check that. If it's not really stone, I want to read through it, make sure that it's speaking to what is actually there. And that's, again, what these little notes are saying. But this is considered the standard tone. There's also a professional tone. We'll generate that one and read a little snippet. And then there's a playful tone, which I like that one because I consider myself a kid at heart. So I like to be the playful person. Okay. So this one's talking about the kitchen designed to be both functional and aesthetically pleasing. Features shaker cabinets complemented by elegant crown molding. So it's still pulling the same features. It's just presenting it in a different way. Okay. And this is something that Generate AI Remarks is something I can do within the Metroless voice tool. I can ask it to generate me public remarks. The one thing that I can say the difference between the two is in the Metrolist voice tool, it tends to focus more on this is what is there, right? The facts, this is what it is. It's got, you know, a dishwasher, and it'll start naming stuff like that. Whereas the AI tool here for the public remarks actually describes the property more as a whole. And I would say it sells it a little bit better because in essence, that's what the public remarks are for, is to sell the property, right? That's what people tend to read first. And that's kind of where they get their idea of if it's a good property or not. So we'll go ahead and click playful and see what this one says. And this one's always a little bit more fun because it's playful. So let's see here. This is a property that understands you're not just buying a house, you're curating a lifestyle. Imagine yourself stepping onto the porch, a perfect spot for sipping iced tea and plotting world domination, or just enjoying the sunset. Okay, so it is a little bit more fun. And I think that kind of attitude, that tone, really kind of opens the door for more conversation, right? If someone were to read that, hey, that guy seems like, or that person seems like a really fun person. And that could kind of open the door for you a little bit better. So I'm going to choose these ones. All I'd have to do is click accept new remarks. And now they're in there as my public remarks. Okay. So really easy AI-based tools to use in the system. And they're only going to get better. These are in their infancy. So again, like with the picture search, eventually they're going to add things like price point or bedroom bathroom counts. That's what they're looking forward to adding, is that other criteria. And again, the ability of the AI tool will only get better with the more pictures that are put in there. We all know that AI is a learning-based tool. So the more that it's used, the better it becomes. So highly encourage you guys to use it. Save as incomplete and exit. And that is the AI-based tools within Prospector Plus. Now, real quick, I want to talk about this other program real fast called Real Reports. So if we're on our MLS dashboard, we're going to click on Real Reports under MLS Essentials, and it's going to pull us in here. So if you've never come in here, it won't take you straight to this property. What it ends up doing is kind of taking you through a little orientation video. There's an X in the upper right. You can click on it. You're on Prospector. You got to go to the other one. Dashboard. Yeah. So the first thing that I always recommend doing with any program like this, unless it pulls that information over, is your branding, right? It does pull some branding over, but this one we do have to update. So I'm going to click on account here and we'll see agent branding. And there's my branding. That was after a trip to Hawaii, so I was a little bit darker than I normally am. But it does pull over your first name, your last name, and your email address from Prospector Plus. But it does want you to put in your phone number, your real estate license, your profile picture. That was a really good picture of me. And then the company logo. So you really
the equivalent of wearing blackface?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just going off the name. I'm not
recording any longer than
yeah. Okay, so you do have to fill out, you can see there's asterisks on some of the information. We do have to fill out all of the asterisks to be able to save the information here. So if you don't have your profile photo or the company logo immediately on your computer, wait until you get that so you can save it. But once you put all that in, and you even have like social media stuff, you can put your website down below, and that all transfers over to the actual reports when you share them. Okay. So once you add all that in, you'll see the save button here at the bottom turn blue. You can click on it, and then you'll just click on dashboard at the top to go back. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, let's look up a property here. The cool thing about this is actually, let's do this. Let's see if we can find an address of someone famous real fast, because this is not just California wide, this is nationwide. So I should be able to pull up some information on people here. Let's do John Travolta's house. Let's see if it'll pull me up his information. Doesn't look like it's clickable, of course. Just shows me the pictures. That's neat. Well, let's do this. Of Lago. Okay, we'll grab this one right here and we'll test it out. Okay, so as soon as I select the actual address, what it asks me is what kind of report do I want? So as Metrolist subscribers, we all get unlimited free tax shots. Okay, that's that first column. We do have to pay in for a buyer or a seller report, but you already get a discount. So normally it's $15 for a buyer, $30 for the seller. You guys get them for $5 for the buyer, $10 for the seller. So it's based on credits. So each credit is $5. It's 1 credit or 2 credits. We're just going to pull that tax shot in. So I'm going to click on it and click continue. And it's going to go ahead and generate that report for me.
Do you have examples of the paid for reports?
I do. I'll show them. Yeah, I'll show you some of the information you can pull. Okay, so right off the bat, it tells me what property I'm talking about. Okay, I can share the information, copy the link, and post it on, wherever I want. Send an email. It's going to pop up my default email platform. Send it out. I can grab a QR code and place that on a flyer that I create, and people can just scan that and then pull this report up virtually, or I can text it to somebody and then they get the link and pull it up that way.
And what they get is branded to me, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Is this evergreen? Does the link stay active and update the value and comps?
Yeah, so that's what you'll see here at the bottom, right? So if I'm done with the report, if I'm done with the information, I can come back into it and turn sharing off. So anyone has that link, it's going to make it so they can't view the information, but it will update. So if there's new information, like they look at it and I've had it on for an entire year, it should update with new information for me.
The comps will be updated.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, so comps is something that's available on the seller report. For whatever reason, it's never worked for me yet. Again, it's a newer thing. But personally, I like to do comps myself instead of letting AI do the comps for me. That way I can kind of tailor them to the actual property, because there's some things that AI might not think about to pull that you as agents kind of understand a little bit better. Okay. What would you use it?
Like the buyers.
So you can use it for, potential buyers that you might be working with on a property. Hey, they're interested in, putting an offer on a property. Well, here, let's take a look at this buyer's report first, to see if that's something you really want to do. It's just to give them more information to help them make the most
Why
informed
don't you
decision
show us
they
what's
can.
on the buyer?
Sure. Let me get through this basic part first, and then I can show you the buyer's side of it. So again, we can also print these reports. So there's 2 different options when it comes to printing the report. A real report summary will give me a 2-page report, the first page being the cover, and the second page basically just being my branding with a QR code, and then that front picture of the house. Okay, and it does that so that people can view that information virtually. Okay, I can choose what information I want them to see. So if I don't care for them to see the automated valuation, or even the ownership or the financial, or any tax information like that, I can kind of withhold that when I share it. And that way, when they pull it up, they won't see any of that. Okay, and then same concept with the individual. Now the individual is where you're actually going to get the multi-page report. That's going to be that little packet. So each section is going to be kind of opened up and given to, or have all that information spoken to. Again, giving me the ability to choose what I want to show. Okay. Now let's go back real fast and we'll pull up. I'm gonna pull up the seller's report just because the seller has everything the tax shot has, plus the buyers and the sellers. So we'll do that one instead of the buyer report. So even if it's something that I pulled up, ages ago, it'll allow me to pull it up again as long as the sharing is, turned on. Even if the sharing is not turned on, I can still pull it up. It just won't be available to others. But I can go through and put notes in there. Hey, these are open house dates that I'll be holding. There were remodels done to the property. This is what was remodeled, and any other insight I might have on the property, I can add those notes in. I can also add any of my own documents. So maybe there's, pest report that I have. Maybe there's a floor plan. I can add that kind of stuff in here under documents. If I have more pictures of the property, I can add those in as well. And it just goes through quite a bit of different information. So there's an automated valuation tool here. Okay, here's the CMA. So it looks like it did come in and give me some information. So there's a condition score and a quality score here. And then it goes through.
The condition.
That's based on things like, is there, were there permits pulled for? Was it, have there been any updates on the property, things like that. So it's pulling from over 70 different sources. And one of the benefits to it is this Aiden AI tool. So I can ask it, how did the condition score come about? And then we'll see if it gives me a good answer on that. But then it gives me the other properties that it kind of quoted against down below.
What does this one have that the other two don't? What am I paying the $10?
So this one gives you things like long-term rental and short-term rental information. It will pull in, let's see, where's some of the other stuff? To finish my thought earlier, but it's based on age and materials used. And so it looks like it's pulling from quite a few different thoughts because it's older, because of the materials used, and there weren't permits pulled to update or renovate the house. It's kind of taking all that into consideration to give you that quality score. Okay, but let's go down. So there's owner information in here, even as far as if we click on view owner information, it can pull up some of that owner information for me. Okay. Phone numbers, email, etc. Liens. So if there were any permits pulled on it, 2016, looks like the
permit park show up on the buy side as well.
Permits show up on the buyer side. Yep. Buyers and sellers. Zoning is specifically, or actually, no, that one's on buyers as well. Long-term is going to be seller. So it gives you all the long-term rental information, comparable other rental properties in the area, short-term rental. So maybe they want to turn it into an Airbnb or something like that. Again, comparable listings, financials, that's on all three of them. Tax history, neighborhood report. So this neighborhood report is more the sellers, where it gives me, what's kind of around it. This neighborhood score is going to be something that's available for all three. Schools information available for all three of them. Building and site, again, available for all three. Home performance, this is a newer one. I haven't really ever seen it show anything except for that yet. But again, this is a newer tool, so things are still kind of being worked out. Site information, again, part of the characteristics. Okay, goes into utility and energy. So as a buyer, this is what you could be expecting as far as the cost of utilities. If they wanted to add solar, any solar estimates are there, how much it would cost to run HVAC for a year, any incentives in the area, who has the best internet, who has the best mobile coverage. Remodel estimates, this is both buyer and seller. So if I want to remodel the entire home, I could be looking at that kind of cost, individual sections, this kind of cost. Okay, all the way down through environment. Okay, and area resilience. So this is all talking about hazards. So the only thing they really have to deal with is heat. Okay, even going into historical disasters and then radon and air quality. There's news and media, pulls up information about that neighborhood, census data, crime statistics, and then market trends. So that's everything that they offer in the sellers. Again, the market trends, was it here? Bear with me here. The home performance, the CMA side of it, those are things that you're going to get in the seller report that you wouldn't get, and then the neighborhood information that you wouldn't get in the other two. But I think the biggest thing is being able to offer not only the tax data if they're interested in it, but kind of all of this data combined that you can't really get through one program. Everything is kind of split. Some of this information you can't even get from any of the other programs that we offer. So now having to go to an extra source to try to pull that in. I just think it's a good idea to have this. And just the fact that from the tax shot, I can go through and pull in owner information if I wanted to. So if I click owner information here, okay. Oh, it didn't pull it up. It pulled it up last time. Well, it actually had it under Melania. Let's see if it was this one. But it even gave like a phone number and an email. She used AOL.
She's old.
Yeah, here you go. See? So it's got her information in there, her phone number. That's the first lady's information there. I don't know how accurate it is. Okay. Right. But just to be able to pull that kind of information for free, on top of some of the school's information, building and site information, just being able to combine all this together with hazard, with internet, with cell service. These are all things that buyers would be interested in. And then again, one thing I can ask are, the AI tool is, even though permits isn't in the free thing, I can say, were there any permits pulled on this property within the last 10 years? Okay, and it should be able to pull some of that information in, even though it's not on this report, because it is information the system as a whole gathers. So there have been no permits pulled on this property within the last 10 years. So that's kind of the big benefit of the AI side of it, is I can ask the AI tool, hey, is there Mellarus on this property? When does Mellarus end on this property? And it will pull that information in for me. If it doesn't pull it in, it at least gives me, hey, this is where you should be looking for that kind of information. But definitely something that's worth, your time to check out. It's free, for the tax shot, see what the tax shot can offer you. It's great information to be able to share. Okay. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll hang out just in case you have any extra questions for me, but I'll be respectful of the time. Yeah.
So on the previous AI stuff with the listing, okay, so is that all like SEO, or is it looking for keywords? like SEO information, Google search, when it's pulling in that AI, when the AI tool is pulling in that information.
I don't believe so. So it's created by a company called the AI. They're Spain, so it generates its own information kind of based off of what it sees.
See what you
in
do.
pictures.
Yeah, she's all gonna call him every day.
Correct.
Actually, I have to call him today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Speaking of-
That'd be fun.
I gotta figure out what one.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Yes.